There was a couple of researchers by the name of Weiss and McMichael who published in Nature Medicine a few years ago the transitions in disease in human history. So we had that first transition when about 10,000 years ago we started farming and we started living in communal societies. And that's when measles and smallpox emerged. And then we had a second transition, the centuries before and after Christ, when people started moving around and they started trading goods and spices and so forth. And with them, when they went from place to place, they didn't only bring those goods they were going to sell, they brought rats and fleas and lice and typhus. Now, in that third transition, we all sort of know about this. I think the quote from Charles Darwin says it very well: wherever the European has trod, death seems to pursue the Aboriginal. So in that third transition, we exported a lot of disease. Now we are in what we call the fourth transition. And planet Earth is a lot different. It's smaller by virtue of our ability to move around it so quickly. We now have the Wuhan virus, the novel coronavirus, which started in China. We've been hearing about it for maybe a month to 6 weeks, and it's here in the United States. It's low in number, but it got here very quickly, and that's how. It's more crowded. It's much more developed. We have refugees moving around. It's unsettled in places, and yes, it's warmer. And the result of that is that we see there's a lot of emerging infectious disease events. And this shows the number of events decade to decade through 2000. So they're growing each and every decade. This one is a little bit of an aberration because it reflects the emergence of HIV, which also caused a number of other emerging infectious disease events. But this, folks, is not a good trend. Many more illnesses are emerging. And, you know, when I say Lyme disease is the first, I say that because it's new. Yes, it was living quietly in the environment, but for the most part, nobody heard of Lyme disease before about 1980 or so. It is climate-driven. It's huge. You won't find anything on this scale among the other new diseases that have been hatched because of climate change or enabled because of climate change. And that would include Zika virus and West Nile virus. These are definitely, you know, new emerging infectious disease events in themselves, but they're not as big as Lyme disease. And there's also, yes, more of the traditional diseases that we have known about for a long time, dengue and cholera and malaria especially. So this is just a series of slides to bring home that point that this epidemic is very widespread. You'll find these signs at the entrance to parks in Paris. This is from the Netherlands, from Australia, where they haven't actually identified the bug that is causing a Lyme-like illness. And people are really fighting hard for recognition there. It's a very difficult situation there. In China, which is not known for being a terribly open society, this is what was written by a scientist who studied 800 residents of outside a suburb of Beijing, and found that there was a 5% rate of Lyme disease among these people. Underdiagnosis of early Lyme disease and physical damage at an advanced stage are a huge problem. In Latin America, South America, we're also seeing it. But again, to bring home the message that it's not just about Lyme disease. These are the total counts, including other diseases like Rocky Mountain spotted fever, like anaplasmosis and ehrlichiosis and other such things.